Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM WURD, the Wake Up with Word Show, and we are back. And we're here with Sean Pitt, also known as Tana Black. He's a hip-hop artist who wrote that song, Let Us In reference to what's going on with the Temple University area and Temple's plans to build a stadium in that area against the wishes of many of the people who live in that community. Kenneth Walker Jr., his mentor, is a political activist. He's also running for state rep in that district against W. Curtis Thomas. He will be on the primary ballot. Harriet Womack is a block captain and community leader in the area where Temple is planning to build a new stadium. I want to welcome all of you to 900 AM WURD.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. So we're going to move Ms. Harriet a little bit closer to the mic because we need to hear Ms. Harriet. But it's so in terms of that particular song, why did you write that song?
Because like I said, Kenneth Walker Jr. Exposed me to a lot of things. You know, coming from the inner city of North Philadelphia, he exposed me to the group Stadium Stoppers. And what happens is they meet every Thursday and they talk about what we could do, or at the time, what they could do to change, help the community on stopping Temple from building a stadium. So I was compelled to write a song because, I felt like that's what I'm good at.
Yeah. So in the beginning of that song, we hear people chanting "Let us in." What are they talking about?
They're talking about a protest that we had on Temple campus about a meeting that the Temple had about putting a stadium in North Philadelphia, and they didn't let the community in. So actually, Miss Womack was one of the people they did let in. So she's on the song too at the end. They chant "Let us in."
And so they have these board meetings. There were two,
right,
where the community was not let in. So Miss Womack, as somebody who's been in that community for a number of years, how did you feel in having this plan put on the table about building a stadium when it wasn't something that you or other members of the community wanted? How did that make you feel?
I felt bad. I felt bad behind the fact that Temple is right there in the heart of North Philly. And to me, they just want to come in and take over, don't say anything to the community. Just, this is what it's going to be, and that's it. And it's not right to the community.
Go ahead.
And I've been living here all my life, and Temple has done a lot of things, but they haven't did anything for the community.
Okay, so that stadium would be, I think, like 16th and Berks, right?
16th and Norris.
16th and Norris, two very small streets. I'm from North Philly, lived at 25th and Oxford for a number of years, went to Temple University, so I know that those are very small streets. Do you see how a stadium could fit there along with parking without tearing down a lot of what's there in that community?
And that's my thing. If they build a stadium there, that means that they're going to have to move people out of their homes for parking. Which is more important, parking or people homes? Some people has lived around here, like me, all my life, and you're just going to uproot them to go somewhere else for a parking stadium or a parking places. That's not right. I feel as though if Temple want to do something, they can invest in the schools. Some of the schools that's closing up. They need money bad.
Okay. So Kenneth Walker, now you are involved in that community, grew up in that community. What is Stadium Stoppers? Explain to us what that is and how it came to be and why.
Stadium Stoppers is a board of students, community leaders, and community residents that come together to talk about the issues about the stadium.
Move your mic down a little bit, man. Okay, go ahead.
And my main concern is that most of the residents are seniors.
Yeah.
And some of them can't come out to the meetings. And as a community activist in the community, I believe that we have to have some type of representation to get the word out to the community. A lot of seniors don't know what's going on. Miss Harriet and the Temple students have put in a lot of hard work to try to get the message out there, but a lot of people are blind to the whole situation of the stadium being built in North Philly.
Have you been able to talk with anyone from Temple about your concerns?
No.
Have
not
you
at
reached
all.
out to anyone from Temple about your concerns?
Well, we have reached out to Theobald, the president, and we haven't heard any response at this time.
Okay, so in reaching out to him, how did you go about reaching out to Temple University President Neil Theobald? How did you go about reaching out to him?
Well, as the board, not me specifically, who went out and reached out to the president, but the board, they sent letters and emails out to him.
Mm-hmm. And there was no response either in writing or verbally?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. So Tana Black, I mean, there is power in music. So you create this song. You're talking about a number of things. You're talking about the political atmosphere. You're talking about the social atmosphere. You're talking about the criminal activity that goes on and why it goes on and a number of things. And when I heard it, to me, it was a song that was very powerful. What do you hope will happen as a result of this music?
Well, actually, it's crazy because I got a project out that I was working on, and I got this thing spiraling out of control. So what I hope for it to happen is like basically, the people in the community, because when I go to these meetings, I'm the only young guy in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly Temple students and the community. So what I did was I wrote a song because I want to have my friends compelled just the same way I was by the meeting through the music. So because these guys don't, they don't come to the meetings and they on the corner, they don't know where what's going on. So if I could write a song, they listen to they follow me. They listen to my music. So if I could write a song to compel them and move them and get them to be a part of this movement, that's actually what I want to happen with the song.
Mm-hmm. And so, but in terms of creating a movement around this music, around this cause, around what's going on in this neighborhood, what role does the music and then the modern way in which information is shared, social media, etc., how do you hope that will move people forward? What do you hope they will do?
Well, first and foremost, we just dropped the record yesterday, and today we have an interview. And like I wanted to say, I thank you very much for having us on the show, and it being being an activist too, also, because like you could have just like heard the record and just left it alone, but you called me on my phone and personally, and you invited me to come up here and talk about these issues, and I want to say thank you.
You're
for
welcome,
that, because, like I said, I mean, people talk about wanting to help and wanting to be a part of the movement, and they turn us down when we reach out to them. They don't listen. Politicians, we ask them to come to the meetings. They don't come to the meeting. So it's like at the end of the day, this is a blessing from God, because, like I said, I mean, people listen to your radio station. You're like, I think we just heard about you being voted #1 radio personality in the nation, and that's big. People listen to your radio station, and Kenneth Walker exposed me to it 3-4 days ago, and like I said, I've been a fan ever since then, and I respect you. And like I said, this right here is just. It is a blessing. We didn't even expect it to work this fast. Like, we just dropped it yesterday. So, I mean, what I want to do is I want to just basically not take all the credit. The song is not just mine; it's the community song. It's talking about issues. Who can help? Miss Womack is on the song. She's on the end of the song, and it's a powerful song. Like I said, I mean, it's for the community. It's not just for me.
Okay, and we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you coming in, and we appreciate you, bringing this cause to younger people, because a lot of times what happens in our communities is that the older people are on the front line and they need help.
Right.
They need help. So Miss Harriet, in terms of what you hope to come out of this, do you see collaborating with, working with younger people as you move forward to try to save your community?
Yes, I do. And by him making that song and the response that I have heard from the younger people that listen to that song, it has, it touched them and they do want to get involved. And I'm just praying that everything just work out and Temple just move back because the people is taking a stand. We're not going to sit down. We're not taking this lightly. We're not going to let Temple move us out of our neighborhood for a stadium and parking spaces. We're not. We're not. It's not over till it's over.
Okay, and politically, Mr. Walker, what do you hope will happen politically? Have you talked with Darrell Clark? Have you talked with Curtis Thomas, who you happen to be running against? But have you talked to the people who are in office now about what can be done politically?
Well, we have reached out. Curtis Thomas, Rep. Thomas, did come out, but he came out one time and that's it. Nothing have been resolved or explained to the community or to the stadium stompers. It's a lot going on in our community and throughout the city of Philadelphia. This is a major issue in our community, and we are calling them back out to resolve this issue. You Solomon, thank you so much. And also Tana Black, he was at a dark place.
Yeah.
And by him coming along, and I asked him to help me out 2 years ago, and he didn't see it. But as he been coming along with me and coming out in the community, doing positive things, feeding the homeless, giving food to the seniors, doing storms and removing snow from seniors and disabled, it started to become infectious, and he started liking what he was doing, positive.
Yeah.
And also listening to your show, or the Word 900, it started really inoculating him with positive information about the community and about what's going on. Yeah. And then when I brought him into the stadium stompers and I was saying, what can we do? He woke up one morning and called me and said, listen, I want to write a song.
Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate you. We appreciate him. We're going to go out with this song, and after that, we're going to hear local news with Vince Thompson, and then we're going to hear some more voices from that North Philadelphia community where Temple is talking about building a stadium. Let us in. Let's take a listen.
Youry on the beat, Youry on the beat.
From a city where the sun don't shine, boy, you have to starve if your don't grind. Many politicians, man, they always telling lies. Promise us hope and a ribbon in the sky. Man, they treat us like shit, like we ain't got a voice. Wonder when we hustle, man, we ain't got a choice. What about Kim? What about Miss Joyce? 25 years they was living here. Where the hell they gon' go? They don't even care. When I cry sometimes, cause I really care. You can see it in their eyes, man, they really scared. Many people telling lies, man, they really weird. But you ain't gotta worry, cause I'm really here. I'm right here with y'all. Fighting the same fight, dreaming the same dream. Kenneth Walker Jr. for state rap. Let's go. Yeah. When I do it for the kids and the babies, when I do it for the folks that raised me, I don't do it for the cheddar and the gravy. Man, I do it for the hood cause it made me. Mama, they blind, it's a sign of the times. When these people, they lying, these babies are dying, and mamas are crying. Yes, mamas are crying. They imitated us, infiltrated us. Now we here and we ain't even got no trust. All we got is us, all we got is love. Only God I trust, pull each other up. Not a black or a white thing, man, it's a we thing. Forever what we sing, forever what we say, forever what we say. Let's go.
they turned their backs. They heard us, but they didn't hear us. They acted like we wasn't even in the room. You know? So, get the positions together. Get them together. Get them together. And get as many as you can to sign it. Because what they're doing is not right. It's not right to you, and it's not right to the community. And me, myself, if I can do anything about it, I am. This ain't the last time that you're going to see my face. I've been living here for a long time, and I'm pissed.
Joe on 900 AM WURD and 900 AM WURD.com.
Mackenzie, you're going to talk in my mic. Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM WURD, the Wake Up with Word Show, and we are back with more members of that community around Temple University. Mr. Bill Mundy is a block captain and a community leader. Ruth Burchett is a block captain, a lifelong resident, community leader. Mackenzie Morris is a Temple student and part of the Revolutionary Student Coordinating Committee. And Phil Gregory is a Temple student and part of 15 Now. I want to hear from the Temple students first, because very interesting. You go to the university. The university is talking about building a stadium. You're against it. Phil Gregory, I'll start with you. Why are you against this stadium?
Well, first off, I'm actually from Germantown, so I'm from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I feel as though since Temple is actually a community college, not necessarily in the sense that it is in the classic sense it's a community college, but it is within a community. It is within an established North Philadelphia community. And since it is like that, it needs to adhere, or at least be conscious of the fact that there are other people around in the area, that we are not an entity unto ourselves. We have to, all of our actions affect the people that live in the immediate community. And because of that, whenever we build a new building or we decide to tear down some houses, that affects other people's lives. And me as a student, as a resident of Philadelphia, I feel as though Temple needs to hold itself accountable and also just take responsibility for our actions. We start building a stadium and we don't talk to the community about it, even though we'll be in their backyard. That's among a long list of things. It's highly disrespectful. So I feel as though, as a student, it is my responsibility to bring to the attention of other students and also community members that may not know about this, because Temple is purposely being very opaque, very shady about this, to that they need to be more accountable with the building of the stadium, and they don't need the stadium at all.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you're joined by another student, Mr. Mackenzie Morris, who's part of the Revolutionary Student Coordinating Committee. Why do you see this as an issue for your organization, Mackenzie?
Well, in general, when you have gentrification going on, Temple University, it's a university that's gentrifying an area. When a university is gentrifying an area, it tries to keep the students and the community separate, I mean, as a revolutionary, trying to be a revolutionary is something that you do, not something that you say. And in order to do this, you have to be a good neighbor to these people in the community. You have to, fight for their interests. You have to fight gentrification, you have to fight the stadium, you have to fight with them. That's just being a good neighbor. A great injustice is happening. You cannot be neutral. You have to fight with the community, you have to fight the university. This is not acceptable.
Okay, and so you've got some students who are involved with this, but then you have people who are lifelong residents of the area, like Miss Ruth Burchett. Miss Burchett, tell me, how is this affecting you in terms of these plans being bandied about in your community?
It's really discouraging, and it's reminiscent of my very young years in the mid-50s when I came home from Carver School directly at 16th and Norris, and the elders in the neighborhood with brooms in hand were circled on my sidewalk and arguing, and I discovered that Temple was and the city were planning to demolish homes west of Broad Street to expand. And what concerns me is that in this day today, we still have elected officials who are working out plans and deals behind the community's back. This thing has accelerated to the point where Temple has already invested $1 million to do a feasibility study without there being one community meeting. in reference to this by any of the elected officials, Council President Darrell Clark in particular, and then you also have Representative Thomas, who's on the state level, and Senator Kitchen on the state level as well. And no one has given us any indication. And certainly some of the dollars would come from the state, I'm sure.
Okay, so we did speak with Darrell Clark on this issue. He said he is against a stadium being built without the community's consent. That's what he said to us on the record. So we will see what that comes out to down the line. But I do want to talk to Mr. Bill Mundy, who's also a block captain in that area. Mr. Mundy, how does this? How do you see it?
This was definitely a wake-up call.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 72. I went back on them. I found out this is a part of a 2020 or 40-year plan
Mm-hmm.
that was put into effect, and the area is North Philly, the target area. However, I never stayed focused with what was going on until the last year.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to the zoning board to stop a house from being built in my block. I was annoyed at the people that was doing all this work, but I wanted to find out what was going on.
Yeah.
So I want to fast forward this up. I learned.
We got about 1 minute, Mr. Mundy.
Okay. It's a lot of issues.
Yeah.
One
What's
issue,
the main one?
The main issue is the exploitation of a community.
Okay.
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 If I could use another word, the raping of a community.
Mm.
You know, by the municipality and this 40-year plan.
Mm. Okay. I want to thank you, Mr. Mundy. I want to thank you, Ms. Burchett. I want to thank you, Mackenzie Morris, as well as Phil Gregory, for joining us to talk about this important issue. Again, we will be reaching out to Temple University and getting them on the air to talk about what you have stated here today, because we believe that it is extremely important what's going on in your community. It's our community. And so I want to thank you for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank
All
you for
right.
having us.
You're welcome. We're going to go to break, and on the other side, we're going to talk to U.S. Senate candidate Katie McGinty, who's going to be calling in to join us on 900 AM WURD. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back. So we're here with Tana Black. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD Radio. His brother's fighting against some gentrification going on in the community with the Temple Stadium. We just interviewed him, and a whole bunch of people from the neighborhood that he brought down. And so we appreciate him. We appreciate his work and what he's doing. We appreciate all of these people from the neighborhood who came down from the neighborhood that I love, North Philadelphia, to really fight for that community, and we appreciate it. All right?
I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. No problem. No problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll see y'all later. Thank you so much. Oh, you didn't get in.
That's okay.
Oh, I didn't see it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
We just got finished wrapping up the segment with Solomon Jones at 900 WURD here with the community, and we fighting.
And we thank Solomon Jones for the fight and exposing the issues that's going on in North Philadelphia with the Temple Stadium being built in the community. And we're going to continue to fight until we resolve this issue that this stadium will not be built in our community. And we just going to keep pushing and hold our Temple accountable and also the political figures accountable as well.
And me as a Temple student, I just want to let everybody know that the cause has Temple student backing, and that we're going to be fighting along with the community to get rid of the stadium and basically do what's best for the community and not just what's best for the school.
And as a community member and a lifelong resident, I just want everybody to know that there are a lot of things associated with the stadium. It's not just the stadium. It's surrounding issues, retail space, it's displacing community, it's displacing a magnet school that is huge in the neighborhood and a community recreation center. So it's not just an issue about the stadium, it's about Temple and the disrespect in the community and the neighborhood and the citizens who live there and reside there.
One of the issues are disruption of community life, the real estate tax increase, parking for 4,000 cars, the rezoning of eminent domain to this section of North Philadelphia. We have had incidents that resulted in the death of 2 college students who fell off a roof. These are some of the reports that the block captain have secured over the past years.
Everybody gets.
Everybody gets one.
Somebody goes,
Go ahead. Come on, boy.
I just want to say that we are not going to stand still and let Temple take over our territory. We're here and we're here to stay. They could build their stadium somewhere else. Go out South Philly where the rest of them are. Or Delaware Avenue.
Yeah, find another spot. We can resolve this quick. Find another spot. Because we coming.
Yeah, once again, I'm here as a Temple student, and I just want to make sure, we're just fighting to be good neighbors as much as we can. It's our duty to be good neighbors to the people in this community, to stand up against the stadium, to stand up against gentrification. It's going on. It's a great injustice. We need to fight it. That's why.
It's encouraging to have Temple students join us as community members who've been living here a really long time and supporting us in this fight. It is unconscionable for our elected officials, Councilman Darrell Clark, and even our state officials, Senator Shirley Kitchen and State Representative Deborah Curtis Thomas, to not have had a real legitimate discussion with us long-term activists in the community as well as residents of the community about the expenditure of over $100 million toward a stadium in our backyard. That's unfair. I consider it a dereliction of duty, and it also is very deceptive as well. And so my concern is the deal making that all too often happens behind the back of the very constituency that elect these people to offices. I think this is another good argument for term limits, and that some people have overstayed their time in their elective offices and have become too cozy with outside influences and special interests.
My last piece, that a community is made of the people. It's not made of the green space or nice new stadiums or anything like that. North Philadelphia is made up of the people that live there, the homeowners, the block captains, the mothers that have raised their children there and were raised there themselves. North Philadelphia, if this stadium happens, we all know that it's going to change drastically. And so now, again, the community isn't made up of stadiums and shops. The community is made up of people. And if we're going to build something in their neighborhood, you need to talk to the people because it's going to be directly affecting their lives. The community is made up of people. Dope.
Just to follow up what Phil said, and the community is made up of the people, and that's why we all are here, from seniors to the students to young adults. We just bringing everyone together because all the decisions should be made with the community. The community elect the officials, the community allow the colleges to be prosperous. We are a part of this community and we must come together and interact reasonably. And that's why we all here. If everyone can come in, And the only way that we can make a change, the only way that we can make a difference in our community if we come together. And that's what we're doing. We're coming together to make a difference, to make a change, to hold our political figures accountable, to hold Temple accountable, and make the decisions that need to be made here in our city and here in our community. So we just want to say thank you to Solomon Jones and for exposing this information to the community and to the city at large.
Thank you.